channel. Thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, welcome. Also, thank you for stopping by. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about something a bit more on the serious side today. I apologize for not filming it sooner, but I had to really focus on getting my health back on track. I took a vacation with my family, which I've already put up some vlogs of that vacation, so if you haven't watched it, please check it out. And I've also been dealing with the sudden loss of a really close family member, and that's been really hard. So it's kind of kept me from getting a chance to film this. And of course, I've been working and auditioning and doing giveaway things. So it's kind of, this video kind of got pushed back. So today, of course, I had a couple of auditions to film. So I said, you know what, let me sit down after I'm done with that and just kind of get this video filmed. I want to circle back to what happened. About a week after I filmed the work week vlog, which is up on my channel, I ended up in the hospital. If you recall in that video, I kept talking about how I was tired, and like every other word I said pretty much was, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. So I want to share with you what exactly happened, but I want to take you back a little bit. I grew up as a military kid. My father was in the military. He was, if you're familiar with the Air Force, he was a pararescueman, which is like, I equate it to, a lot of people know what Navy SEALs are. So in the Air Force, pararescuemen are like Navy SEALs. So my dad was really active, really buff, really strong, really health conscious. And so I grew up in that house. So I was always active, working out, outdoor activities. I'm not gonna say I ate like a strict diet, but because of the way my parents ate, I didn't eat like crazy bad either. So I continued being active and eating that way until I was a young adult. So, you know, I'm working out, I'm taking care of myself, and then I ended up getting married and having children. And as you know, most people who are married with children know that you kind of put yourself on the back burner, so you're not really taking care of yourself as much as maybe you used to when you were single. I stopped really working out. I started eating things that I hadn't been eating before. And of course, you know, stress and things like that can contribute to, you know, your health taking a kind of a dive if you're not really focused on keeping yourself healthy. So now, fast forward to me being in my mid-40s, I am about 40 pounds heavier than I was before I started having children. Of course, you know, I have 2 teenagers in the house, so my stress level is through the roof. I have all these multiple jobs, all these things that I keep telling you guys I need to kind of figure out, scale back, and all this other stuff. And just, you know, I have a lot going on. So I kind of knew a few years ago that I was creeping towards being diagnosed with high blood pressure, because when I'm going to see my doctor, my blood pressure was a little bit elevated. Him and I would talk about me not wanting to be on medication, and he would encourage me, you know, change your diet, exercise more, cut out, you know, alcohol, wine, whatever it is you're drinking, and then hopefully we'll see those numbers decline. This was right before the pandemic, you know, like a year or two before the pandemic. So fast forward to about a month and a half ago, I was getting ready for work, and I noticed that when I was putting my shoes on, that my hands felt weird. They were kind of like tingly. I was saying numb, but you know, I just couldn't really feel, like the circulation was off in my hands. And I knew that I had been really stressed and I'd had a lot going on. I hadn't gotten a lot of sleep, things like that. So I was like, you know what? I really should take my blood pressure. We have a blood pressure cuff in our house, but it hadn't worked in the last few months, maybe last 6 months or so, because it had a little hole in the cuff, so it wouldn't work. And I knew that I didn't know what my reading was because I hadn't checked my blood pressure in over 6 months. So instead of going straight to work, I went to Walgreens. And I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, you could go into a Walgreens or into like a grocery store or something like that, and they would have those little blood pressure machine sitting there, and you could sit down and take your blood pressure and see what it was. So I walked into Walgreens and I'm like, hey, do you guys have one of those, stationary or blood pressure machine seats, whatever? And they explained to me, no, we don't have those anymore. And then I said, well, do you guys have a cuff where you could take my blood pressure? Because I'm just curious to know what it is, because I'm not feeling well, and I'm thinking that might be what my problem is. And they said, no, we don't do that either, but we do sell them. So you can, you can buy one off the shelf. So I'm thinking, okay, I should probably do this. I'm feeling funny, so I probably shouldn't go to work without knowing what my blood pressure is. So buy one of the cuffs, go out to the car, open it up, take my blood pressure. It's 177 over 112. Which, if you know blood pressure, you know that is extremely high, borderline being very, very dangerous. So, of course, I'm freaking out in the parking lot, which is only gonna make my blood pressure go higher, thinking, oh my God, I can't believe that I let it get this bad. What am I gonna do? So I immediately text Todd the picture of the reading and tell him, look, I'm going to the emergency room to see about myself, which my mom always says, you gotta see about yourself, you gotta take care of yourself. So I go try calmly to go to the emergency room. I get there, they take the reading, they're like, yeah, your blood pressure is really high. We need to get you to the bag and figure out what's going on. So I get to the bag, Todd comes from work, and while I'm there, my blood pressure slowly goes down. So they're asking me, were you like really anxious about something this morning? Did something happen that could have spiked your blood pressure? And I'm like, no, I was just getting ready to go to work. I'm talking to my 15-year-old daughter. Maybe that did it, I don't know. But they were like, okay, well, because it's okay now, we're just gonna send you home. Are you on medication? I'm like, no, I'm not on medication. They're like, okay, well, we're just gonna send you home. You relax, go see your primary doctor tomorrow and let them take a reading and see if, maybe they wanna put you on medication at this point. So I'm like, okay, so I go home. The next day, I get a same-day appointment with my primary. I go in, she takes my blood pressure. It's high, but it's not as high as it was the day before. I'm explaining to her what's going on, and she's like, yeah, maybe we should, because at this time I have a different doctor than before. She's like, maybe we should put you on like a low medication and see if that helps. So I'm like, okay. So we do that. I think I start the prescription that day, and that was like midweek. So I'm taking the medication, I go back to work. On Sunday, I'm like not feeling good. I'm eating and I feel like I can't like structure my words the way I want to. And of course I'm thinking, oh my God, what if my blood pressure's up again? What if this is like, a stroke? What's going on? And I'm starting to get nervous about it. I go to the back in my room and I take my blood pressure and it's up again. It's not as high as it was that first reading, but it's really high. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? I'm taking this medication now. My blood pressure is not where it's supposed to be. And of course I start, you guys know I deal with anxiety, which is not a good thing to have when you're dealing with high blood pressure, because it's just gonna keep making your blood pressure go up. So I tell Todd, look, I gotta go to the emergency room again, because if I'm taking this medication, why isn't it working? Not thinking that, okay, it's gonna take some time for the medication to start working. So I go back to the emergency room, tell them what's been happening, and this time they decide to keep me, because I had said about, I was trying to talk and I couldn't verbalize what I was trying to say, and they're like, okay, that's a big red flag, we gotta keep you here. So I ended up staying in the hospital overnight. They ran all of these different tests. Again, my blood pressure declined. They just told me, keep taking the medication, make some changes in your life, cut out some of the stress, do some of the things that that's going to help decrease your blood pressure, and you should be okay. Thankfully, there's no serious things going on with your heart or with your brain or anything like that, but we do have to get a handle on this blood pressure. So the next day I came home and then immediately started making changes in my life. One of the things, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have the Calm app, so I'm always posting like little things from Calm and little meditations that I do on there. Well, I actually took it a step further, and I have a meditation instructor now. This is something that I found online, and I work with them 3 times a week, meditating via Zoom. I've gotten back in the gym. I work out 3 times a week, full workout. I've cut some of the stress out of my life. I've reprioritized resting, just taking care of myself more, doing things for me. My Burger King chicken nugget runs are no longer a thing, because even though I eat semi-healthy at home, I know that when I'm eating things like those nuggets, or if I'm going to have dinner with my family out somewhere, I don't really know how much sodium is in the foods that I'm eating out in public. So the way that I can get around that is cutting back how often I'm eating out of the house. And then also just continuing to know the types of foods that I'm bringing into the house, as far as groceries and how much sodium they have in them, which I've always been really good about checking the labels on things. So just taking that even a step further, finding even better alternatives to some of the things that my kids might like, and bringing different things into the house and making sure that I'm eating and drinking the right things. Speaking of drinking, cutting out alcohol. I am typically a wine drinker a few times a week, so I've cut that back maybe once a week, which has also helped. So yeah, just making those changes. And I'm also monitoring my blood pressure. Like I told you guys before, I hadn't checked it in over 6 months, so I had no idea what my blood pressure was doing during that time. What I do know now though, now that I'm taking it, because I take medication every day now, my body feels completely different. Like a lot of the aches and pains that I was attributing to being me getting older, or just me being tired, or I'm stiff, or this, or my neck's hurting, my head's hurting, my temples hurt. I think that all those things were associated with my blood pressure, because now that I've made the changes I've told you guys about, and I'm taking the medication, I don't feel those aches and pains anymore. So it's like, just knowing and listening to your body is a really good way of figuring out if the things that are going on with your body are because you're getting older, or if it could be something else. And also going to your doctor, getting tests run. I've always, been really good about going to the doctor, but like a lot of people, I skipped those appointments during the pandemic because I was like, I don't want to go in the doctor's office. There's people in there sick, this, that, and the other. So again, it was a problem that was festering and growing, only because I wasn't doing what I normally would do by going to get those annual checkups and talking to my doctor about how I feel, getting my blood pressure checked, getting my blood drawn and tested and things like that. So it's just important, especially as we get older, to listen to our bodies and act upon, if we're feeling uncomfortable, if we have these aches and pains, make sure that it's not something more than just getting older. With that being said, my goal for myself is to hopefully lose a few pounds, just with all these changes I've made, and also prayerfully to be off of the medication soon. I'm hoping by the end of the year. If it takes a little bit longer, that's okay too, but I'm really not the type of person that likes to take daily medication for things, so I kind of feel like this is a challenge that I'm accepting. My goal is to get off of the medication, so I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to get there. Working out and meditating and eating better and all those things. I just want to encourage the people who watch this video, like I said, to take care of yourselves. Don't keep putting yourself second to everything else that's going on in your life. Go to your appointments, get your tests done. Don't be afraid to do that, because I know a lot of people in my life that won't even go to the doctor because they don't want the bad news. They'd rather just keep going as if it doesn't exist, rather than knowing what condition their body is in so that they can make the changes they need. So yes, I just encourage you, go see about yourself and make sure everything's good. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for watching today. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And see you guys in my next video. Bye.
You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame